worked as a retail sales merchandiser, and we got paid bi-weekly, so we were paid for 80 hours. And we were approved some overtime, but when I got my paycheck, I was only paid straight time, worked like 94 hours. And I did actually send in to our HR department to find out why. They told us that we were only paid straight time. It actually happened to me and another coworker. And they said that it was because that we were paid for paid additional time, which was our administrative time, and paid additional drive time, which included our drive that we had to and from our stores. Is that legal, or was it supposed to be paid overtime?
Out of curiosity, Paige, what type of product are you selling?
I worked for Quaker.
Okay, because we're seeing more and more of this. Outside sales rep is what this falls under, and we're seeing more and more of this. But in terms of Paige's issue, Kirby, what do you think about the administrative time?
Well, Ken, let me address, first of all, the travel time, because a lot of people get confused about travel time. Your travel time from your home to your job is non-compensable. However, if you are doing something for your employer's benefit during that travel time, it is compensable. Like we were talking earlier, often you will have employers asking their employees to get there 10, 15 minutes early to prepare to start work. That's compensable time. Now, the administrative time that Paige is talking about, I'm not really sure what she was doing during that time. But during that administrative time, if she was doing something for the benefit of her employer, then that's compensable. And it doesn't sound like, Paige, that you're working in a job that would preclude you from overtime.
And if I heard correctly, she's getting paid straight time instead of time and a half.
Right.
Which under the FLSA would be incorrect. Is that right?
That would be an incorrect way of paying Paige, to pay her straight time rather than time and a half.
Well, let me ask you guys, because when you're talking about people, you know, that feel like they deserve overtime, and they're afraid maybe to go to the, you know, their boss and say, hey, you know, was this an oversight? I feel like, you know, I am due my money. What is some etiquette? What is some suggestions for people that may be fearful to go forward to receive the pay that they deserve?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I tell you, that would be a most uncomfortable situation, but here's what people have to understand. Employers are required to follow the law. They're required to pay their employees correctly. Number two, the Fair Labor Standards Act, the FLSA overtime law, protects these employees. Okay? You cannot be terminated simply because you challenge the way that you're being paid. So you could simply address it with your HR department. A lot of times there's probably an easy explanation, and you may be reading it wrong. Or in other cases, they may go ahead and say, yes, you're correct, and as a matter of fact, this person, the whole class of individuals deserves overtime for up to 3 years back. So that's something that, yes, it's a touchy subject, but the FLSA certainly does protect you. Yes.
Well, in Paige's case, should she, I mean, since she feels like she got an explanation from her HR department who said, you know, that she was receiving the other pay, what should she do at this point? Does she need to talk to an attorney about, you know, where she should move forward?
I think she does. I think the next step there is to talk to an attorney. And one thing I would add to what Ken said a moment ago is this. If you are working for an employer who you do not feel like you have a good relationship with, or if you're working for a very large employer that you don't feel like you can get to the right person to ask your questions, when you consult a lawyer about an FLSA claim, as Ken mentioned, you have the full protection of the federal government in asking the questions that you're asking. And even if it leads to you filing a lawsuit, you are protected under the FLSA. And in fact, an employer can have punitive damages levied against them if they do anything to you. In fact, you're probably the most important and protected worker in the company once you file that claim.